Good afternoon or good morning, depending on where you are in the world. Episode 3 of St. Edward's in City Skylines. Last I left off, I disclaimed. I left with a disclaimer that I may work on some tad bits off of camera. And I'm just going to run through those before we get into the meat of this episode. So firstly, I have expanded some of the farms, most notably this little area over here, I believe. I'm not sure if I did that on camera. I'm pretty sure a lot of this was already here last episode, so I won't go into too much detail there. I have thickened the forest in the backside of this little town here, just to make it a little bit more seamless with the merging of civilization and nature. Try and make that look a little bit nicer there. Added some extra roads just on the side here. And then zoning wise, you'll see I've added terraced housing all the way along here just to kind of close this section off, make it feel a bit better, as it felt quite empty going between the main road and the kind of town here. And as you can see as well, I've added lots of trees around the front as well, because I think that just makes it look a lot nicer as well. And once we upgrade this to a highway, spoilers, we're going to be making this a motorway today, if I don't get distracted by too many pressing matters. It works as a good sound barrier also. I have no idea if that is actually how it works in game, but I know that is common practice in real life. Another thing we did is we were having water issues. So I put down this groundwater pumping station, but now it's not nighttime and I can actually see what's happening on my screen. Is I can see that this is not quite in the water anymore. Now, I don't know if that is was placed incorrectly, or whether the water level has lowered. Could not tell you. However, we're just going to take a little alley here. We're going to make it curved, as I imagine this is going to be too steep. So if we take a long slope like that. And there's some really weird clipping going on here. Have I got road anarchy on or something? Nope. I'm going to be deleting this anyway. That looks a lot nicer. Oh, I see. It's just because the terrain here was trying to force itself up. So first thing I'm going to do is create a crater. Apparently that is not what we want. If I just flatten this out like that, and then we can give it a slight slope there, and I think that just looks a lot nicer. What are we going to tackle this episode? I think it is about damn time that we sort out the garbage situation. So what I'm going to do is probably down this end up here of this river, I'm probably going to make a landfill for all of the rubbish, as we've got rubbish piling up in, what is this, our road maintenance depot, and somehow in our water pumping station as well. And I feel like that is just the start of the issues. So I feel like cracking down on that now while we can, I think is going to be a great idea. Just trying to see what else we can do. And you know what? Without further ado, let me crack on with that, because I think that's our only pressing matter at the minute. Besides our crime situation, which I'm not even going to look at because I'll get distracted. We can come back to that. Okay, so I've just placed down a little starter road here. I think this is the location that we're going to use for the landfill. Just right up back in this corner, because if I remember correctly, all of our air pollution, yes, is, oh, interesting, beyond the boundaries the wind direction changes. Isn't this how tornadoes are made or something? That looks dangerous. But yes, I think just here, then it's away from our city, hopefully so far away as to not pollute the water source as well. As this is a whole ways away over here. And we could also extend this out and make this a small industrial district as well if we need to, which is nice. And we've also got this junction here, so I'm not too worried about traffic. If we take it from this alleyway here, we already have a road that we can build off of as well. So let's get started. I'm just going to draw out a little area here and place the landfill down. Well, if I haven't just found exactly what I've been looking for earlier in episodes by accident, I found all of the ploppable stuff, which is actually ideal. So now we can actually go through and make some pretty interesting stuff. What is all of this? Is this a barbecue? Oh, it's an AC machine roof. Interesting. That's going to be so fun to make some custom buildings. What I'm doing right now, so I've just started with this. This is quite bumpy, but I think that's fine. I'm not sure if this area would be that manicured. I've created a one-way system here. I was actually looking for the traffic mod, as I wanted to sort out this junction, as we've got some weird stuff happening here. So what I might in fact do is have this as a one-lane, one-way road. If I put anarchy back on like this, and then we can also take one from this angle, try and find the node where it's connected like that, and I'm hoping this works. I am hoping this works. Second thing we need to do here, the reason why I've paused as well, is because we need to sort out our connections here. So if we go to electricity, is this not connected to the main grid? Okay, it should be. So if we look at our electricity availability, that's the issue right now. And you know what? I think, kind of springboarding off of my previous idea, if we extend this and make this a industrial district, we will be able to afford some more power. However, if we have a look here, the coal power plant, which is what I like using, is going to cost us 6 development points here. Is that going to be worth it? We have 11 to play with, and I'm really excited about this actually, so I'm going to do it anyway. There we go. Now, let's just take a quick look at how big this asset is. Wow, that's the wrong one. Okay, that makes sense. There we go. Now, this thing looks fucking cool, if I don't say so myself. Very industrial, and that tower there, really awesome, like the cooling tower I think it is for. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. However, we actually don't have enough for that as of current. So maybe that's something we will have a look into in the future. Okay, so that's all of those connected. Looking very nice on the back of the town there. I wonder how realistic this is. Like, how many wind turbines do you need to be able to power this town? Because I feel like this just isn't enough almost. I don't know how much power these actually generate in real life. If we have we need to be on triple speeds. No wonder everything's taking longer than usual. Is this functioning, and how well is it functioning? So we have 30 out of 30 employees, because everybody in my city is apparently poorly educated or uneducated. That's great. Oh, and it looks like we've got the first load of these are people's cars. Okay, interesting. This is people coming to work. Good idea. We need an option for parking here, so people coming here to work don't need to just park on the street. I think a large parking lot not only fits perfectly but also makes the most sense. And wow, you can really see how kind of curved the land is here as well. But that's okay. That's okay. For 30 employees, is that realistic? I feel like it might be. So I think a smaller car park is needed. They have got small car parks as part of the assets here. Looks like they've got some maybe visitor parking. And then... Actually, no, this looks like... I guess this would be visitor parking if it's paid. I don't know. But either way, let us get a small... Let's take a modest car park. Or parking lot. Small parking lot. Let's go for that one. Does it make sense to be right there? I think it actually does. So I'm just going to pop this. Where do I want to pop this in reference to? If this is the front door, I want it opposite the front door. Perfect. Just like that. I think that makes sense, because then it's just one simple crossing for easy access. Let me see if I can't also add a zebra crossing here for safety. I can do that. There we go. And if I take that one off there, I see. I can't seem to add. So I can do it this side, but not here. Maybe if I do something cheeky here, this might work. If I take the gravel road, do that, make a node, and then if I delete this node, that gets rid of it. Okay. So we're going to have to do some fidgeting here. If we do the move it tool, manipulation mode. We can control Z with this tool. That is an absolute godsend. I'm not sure how I make a zebra crossing exactly here where I want it. No car access. Okay, let me just try this again. There we go, that's fine. So I think I'm actually just going to put a decal here. Okay, I don't seem to see anything for a zebra crossing there, so I'm just going to leave it as is. I think that's okay. So we need to somehow increase our income, as we want to try and get to, was it 1 mil? £1 million for the coal power plant. If we get there, it's going to be insane this early on in the build as well, because although it is totally unnecessary, it does, however, create, I imagine, quite a few jobs, which is going to be good. And it also means our electricity production will be so high that we'll be able to export that electricity as well. As I believe these power lines go all the way to the edge of the map, and we can see that our electricity trade currently is non-existent. We are exporting 0 kilowatts of power. And I think it will kind of, it's a big investment, but I think it'll pay off, and it means that we also won't have to worry about electricity powering our towns for quite a while, quite a while. I can see here that there's still garbage piling up in this area. So let's go ahead and have a look at this Moodle tab. So, okay, I see. It's just telling me that is that. Okay, have I really never clicked on that tab before? Wow. So our landfill availability is at 100%. Have I built this way too far away from the city? I am going to be honest and say that I am not sure as to why this is not working. Have I messed the roads up here? Is that what I've done? Can people not get in and out? Let me just change all of these roads back to 2-lane roads in case I've somehow... I see the issue. This needs to be a 2-way road here. So if we... So that they go around like that, that's absolutely fine. And they come down. And then this is 2-way. Okay, I think I fixed the issue. Are we... There we go. Now we can see all of the rubbish, the dump trucks coming out. That is great news. That it was due to my incompetence that it wasn't working, because then at least we know it's not broken. So we should start seeing some of these issues, and as we kind of guessed, the garbage is piling up issue is spreading to the rest of the city. But that should now be in good and it's already been rubbed. Wow. Day one of this facility being online, and it's already being robbed. That is great. So anyway, so I think the rubbish issue should now slowly start to be fixed, which is absolutely great. Now, one of my concerns is that our city isn't educated enough. And if we look at our high school, yeah, okay. So we need a lot more capacity for elementary schools, and a load of capacity for high schools. So the first thing we're going to do is make use of the buildings that we already have. Now, for this elementary school, I imagine this increases student capacity by 500, and I feel like that is going to get filled up fairly quickly. If we have a look here, we can see that it is going up, but not that quickly, actually. Okay, we really mustn't have, I probably should have checked, we mustn't have needed a lot more for this. Which is fine, that's okay. The bigger concern, however, is if this is going to fix the issue down here. No, it's not. The extension wing only increases capacity by 100, and we needed about, what was it, 500? Okay, no, we need 761. So what we're going to do is we are going to put this in here. Ooh, this is, no, that's a whole ass high school. That's not what we need. There we go. We're going to put this in here, just to kind of buffer this while we think of a place to put the next one. I'm going to take all snapping off here because it's going to be a little bit janky. Connected that road up there. And is there any space to go behind here? With anarchy off, that is. No, there's not. And if we zoom in, you know what? I don't think we need that connected either way. What's going on here with these surfaces? Why does this look so unnatural? Let's just do this. If we pull these surfaces over to the road, that's not overlapping anyway. This is very ugly as well. Weird shape, but it works, that's fine. We take the win, and then I guess that looks a bit better. Where's this fence here? Oh, they got demolished and they're being rebuilt. Okay, that's fine. That is fine. We'll let them be built. And then maybe it will sort out the surfacing there as well. To make it look maybe a bit nicer, we should add a small forest here. So let's take the majority of trees in this town is alder and oak. So if we just put a couple of oak trees down, then we can turn anarchy on to make that fit. And I think that's going to be absolutely fine. Now when we're zoomed out, that's going to look a lot better, I think. So continuing on this education issue that we have, if we look at our overall education, it looks like 7.2% of the city is uneducated completely, and a whopping 46.6% of our population is poorly educated, with only about a third of them being educated and above. So I think once we fix our high school issues, we may start looking to see if we can invest in a university or a college. So I think for this one, I'm going to take, so we've got one of these assets, which, by the way, I really do like this asset. I think it looks very, very nice, and very, very fitting for what a secondary school actually looks like. But let's have a look to see if we can't pick anything else. Now, this one is going to look like a sore thumb, I think. So we're not going to include that one. But we can look at this one. This one's quite prestigious. As you can see, this is a huge, huge asset. as this is one of the original assets, and it also has so many courtyards and parks and tables and such. So if we're going to put this one in, we might as well make it a staple of the community. So I'm thinking we could almost have it out of town as well. That could be quite nice. It does mean, however, we'd be pushing more traffic through rather than making use. In fact, I'm trying to decide what's better here, because if this road here, Glade Street, is this all Glade Street? How long is Glade Street? Oh wow, it goes the whole way through the entire town. That's actually pretty cool, Glade Street. Maybe we can, oops, there we go. Maybe we can call this something like Glade Town or something like that. Oh, 54 Amity Street are very unhappy with their ground pollution they're experiencing. Maybe this is something we'll have to come back to and fix, as this is very close. Now, what I was talking about was if we extend Glade Street out and we put the high school up here, maybe in this opening, this natural opening here, it's going to be a lot easier for residents to get to access, but we will be pulling a lot of traffic out and through the suburbs. However, if we have the connection on this main street here, we are then potentially causing a lot more traffic to kind of be pulled down towards this main street and across here, which may create some traffic issues. To be honest with you, I don't know what the right call is. However, I do like the idea of extending this road out and maybe having another connection over here anyway. So I think that's what I'm going to try. Let's do both. And then hopefully the citizens will use both options and I can stop worrying about this. Okay, so it's good to take note of where the actual road connection is if you're placing without a road. So as you can see, the little diamond that's flashing or like pulsing there is obviously where the road is needed. So I'm thinking of putting it set back a little bit into the tree line there. Oh, and we have got some unwanted hills here. So let's just flatten this whole area out first. If we take this tool, the level terrain tool, I'm actually just going to make this huge. Push it out in both directions. And backwards a little bit. Then we take the slope tool just on, and you want to, there we go. I like to bring it on the back side of the hills. So I level the terrain in the area that I want, and then with the soften terrain tool, you take it on the back side of the hill, and it will stretch it out that way. Because one of the issues I kept on running into is I'd use the tool directly on top of the part that I want to soften, and it will pull it towards the area that you flattened, essentially shrinking the area that you've made yourself, which is it can be quite annoying. Let me snap 2 buildings back on, run this road through there. Perfect. And let's see what kind of additions we can have here. We can have an extension wing for capacity. That's an extra 400 student capacity. We can have a school library, which increases the students' chances of graduating. And we can also add a sports field when we upgrade the progression node large sports parks. That's not a super important thing for us right now, as I believe our happiness is actually quite high anyway. That's the wrong tab, that's just our population. Oh, okay, maybe not. If we have a look here, wow, okay, there's quite a few people down here who are unhappy. Interesting. Okay, so let's finish building this high school and then we'll start looking at our happiness situation. So we're going to connect this with a complex curve. Ever since I actually figured out what this tool does, it has become one of my favorites. I mean, look at that, such an easy curve just made there. And if we hit play just to get rid of those negative moodles, and now we should be able to continue quite comfortably. We don't have any parks either, but I think that's okay for now. And where do we want this fourth connection? If we've got one here, one here, one here, it makes logical sense. The next one would be around this area. However, I don't want to destroy this park here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take a normal road here, select the continuous tool, and I'm just going to kind of go around it. I think cutting off some of the trees there are fine. And then find that point there to connect. And there we go. Okay, it looks like a strange shape right now, but what I'm going to do, I think, is I'm going to fill out all of these trees, make a huge forest or thicket here, I suppose, and make this a kind of park. So we're going to run lots of walking pathways through here, make it look really nice. With this, now I found this area, we can actually really start customizing our parks with some animals and some boulders and such, some flower beds, and also more importantly benches and lighting, and hopefully maybe like an information kiosk in the middle we can sort out putting a small commercial hut or two, as our demand is still through the roof for everything. However, first things first, now that we have this school set up, we should really start looking at the happiness of our citizens. So first thing I'm going to point out is that we actually have almost no parks in the city. If we have a look here, the only two parks that we have are up here, where the campsite is, in this small farm shop area. So we've got 11 points to spend here. I have been quite cautious with spending these. Looks like we're going to have to spend... I'm going to spend a lot of points here, actually, as I think the quality of living is something that we're really going to focus on here. Yeah, so I've spent quite a few points there. 5 points I think I spent just to unlock the large parks, the sports parks, and the park maintenance depot. First things first, we're going to want to place the park maintenance depot down. This is quite a small asset, so I'm actually not too concerned with where we put this. It would make sense for it to be among the offices, maybe. Does this give pollution? It gives low noise pollution. I don't think we want it too close to a residential district anyway. I think maybe... It's making sense for me to put it down here, but I also don't want it to be connected to an alleyway. So let me upgrade this road here. Like this. Ooh, that is now quite ugly here, so let me delete this one. Connect this like this. There we go. Still not the prettiest junction, but I think that's okay. And one thing I just realized is the speeds of these country roads reduced to 30. It's hard to tell as we have it on triple speeds, but it's not caused any blockages in traffic so far to my knowledge, so I think it's all okay. I'm really happy with how these little curved junctions have turned out as well, to be honest. I think I'm really happy with how they're managing traffic, and they're fairly realistic as well. So let's go back and place our park maintenance depot. I think the trees are quite even, so it doesn't really matter where we put this. I think putting it just here, just connected, is absolutely fine. If we take a look at this, I've never actually had a look at this asset. City Park District. You know what? Actually looks quite cool. Quite nice. And we've got just some storage in the back here, I guess. Yeah. Okay, interesting. 30 employees. Good efficiency, low noise pollution. Park maintenance vehicle, 1 out of 10. Where are you? Here you are. Oh, and it's like a proper truck. That's cool. So it's going to the only 2 parks that we have. Oh, that's quite a busy junction here. Where are these people walking to and from? So I guess, are they all walking? Wow, what a busy park. Okay, so they're all walking to the parks up here, is that right? What is this? Why is this love? Uh-oh. Somebody's been making love in the cookie dough bar. That's fine, it is what it is. And if we have a look here, there's a lot of people using this park as well. This is great. I really love this. I really love how... I don't know if this was... Jesus. I don't know how much was changed in the update that they made recently for parks being used, but it definitely feels like the city's more lived in. And it makes me want to invest more in infrastructure and pedestrian access to this farm shop area. So I'm going to keep that on my radar, but for now, I'm going to go back and start putting some of our first parks down. This summer theatre one asset is really cool. I'm such a fan of this. I think this is one of the new ones that were added as well. And I think it's about time to start developing this large plot of land that we have here that we just haven't used at all. So first thing I'm going to do is clear it of any trees that are currently there. And we're going to start from an absolute clean slate. And I kind of want to use the roads for pedestrians, so pedestrian streets here. And I need some inspiration. So I'm going to take a moment to maybe have a look online to see what some parks look like, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've done a brief bit of research there, and I think I've decided that I'm going to split this into 3 sections. I'm going to have a slightly more commercial section with a with the public street, and then I'm going to have a central section in a kind of L shape here. With the main walking areas, and then I'm also going to have a corner maybe down here for dog walking. And I think utilities such as parking is also going to be important here. So we've already got parking on this side as part of the cemetery. So first thing we're going to do then is put some parking on the other side. I think a long car park like that to me actually just looks way too small. So let me... Oh, that's actually a very good idea. Maybe we should have a look at flattening the land first. Actually, that's actually really flat as is. I think it's just this one corner that's having trouble. So we'll just leave that as it is. We're going to come down a wide parking lot. Interesting. Very large parking. That's too big. That's too big. I think the wide one may be quite good. If we flatten it against here. Oh, what an ugly looking car park. And it's got like an exit route here, which I don't love either. So I'm going to delete that again. Being hard to please today, I guess. Okay, this is cool. This is cool. A lot more open, no fences, so it can back straight onto the fields, which I think is fine. I may come in and put some small fences in here myself. But it's got some electrical parking. It doesn't have any disabled bays though, which is probably something I'm going to add now. Let's see if we can add those with the features that we've got, with the mods that we've got here. Here we go. Okay. So if we turn Anarchy on, we should be able to overlay some of these as disabled spots. Now, I think the disabled spots would probably be closer to the park as to where they're going. So let's put those in. How good is this going to look? These kind of look terrible as they're different sizes because they have the extra area for them to get out. So I think I know what I'm going to do, is I'm going to make use of the area tool here. I'm just going to bring this out like this. Bring this out like this. Snap to all of these if possible. Oh, perfect. They do. Like that. Extend the manicured grass a little bit along there as well. And then we're going to hopefully have given us ourselves enough space here to put in some disabled access here. Is that enough for the cars? I think it is. There we go. And then I want to try and use these net lanes. So, I've found it. Perfect. So it is this thing. It is invisible road path. So this is what they use basically as part of the coding of the game to dictate the paths that the cars travel that aren't on the roads, essentially. So as you can see, for all of the assets that allow cars to drive into them, you will see these invisible roads with these dotted lines, and that's kind of how the game tells the cars where to go. So as we've gone ahead and essentially extended this asset, it doesn't have these invisible pathways for the cars to follow. So I'm hoping that if we extend this out, we should have, well, we should be in business to see cars use the rest of the car park that we've extended that aren't part of the original asset. So let me do this. That is terrible. I hate that so much. Why didn't that connect? Can I... maybe I'll have to keep snapping on. Let's have a look. Okay, wow. I think I was making that a lot harder than it needed to be. However, I did want to make it just right, as if I am looking back over the city and I see them using this incorrectly, it will upset me. But after so much fiddling, I finally gotten it right. It was a lot easier than I thought it would be. But yeah, it's not created any janky car parking spots. All of the lines seem to be connected, so I guess now it'll just be a matter of time having a look to see if this works. So the next thing I want to do is come down here and put in a dog park, which is this asset here. Now this dog park is absolutely tiny. I'm going to see if there's a bigger one. There really isn't, which is such a shame. I wish they would put bigger dog parks in the game. However, let us just do this, which I think this is quite big. I think just the scale of stuff is different. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a small shop here. Hopefully that's not as tall as this crane is suggesting. And then I'm also going to make a fenced off, hedged off area as kind of like a bigger walking park that is disconnected or separated from, rather, the rest of this park here. And then I'm going to fill in the rest with a street. So I'm going to time lapse that, and I'll see you guys shortly. dear, oh dear, we had a crash, so let's wait for these mods to load back in. And let's see what the damage is. I do have autosave on, so hopefully it should not be too bad. This looks like I have not lost a lot, to be honest. I've been spending a lot of time and a lot of love on this park, so I'm really hoping that it turns out good. But yes, we honestly haven't lost that much, so let me get back into it. Okie dokie, I could keep going on forever, but I have been recording for quite some time now, and I have put in so much effort and so much detail here, so I'm just going to run you through what I've done. So there's a couple of portions actually, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. So we've got this area here, which is the main pedestrian street, and here you can see there's lots of car parking access and many amenities here for our citizens. So we've got lots of commercial buildings alongside quite a few utilities here for sports. So we've got a basketball court and a tennis court, as well as a small playground, which is a nice place to kind of, take your kids as well while you're shopping. We've got this large area, open area here. I'm happy with how kind of organic this looks. It doesn't look that man-made. Of course, it does with the lines of trees here, the rows of trees here, but I'm fine with that. I think it could potentially have been very boring with just straight lines, so I'm happy that I managed to make something like this. We've got the area down here, which is in desperate need of some lights, now I realise. With the dog park, and then a custom dog park here as well that I made. I'm going to try and have a look in to see if I can make this used specifically for dogs as well. And I wanted to separate these in case, people don't want to walk their dog on the main fields here. If they're not that comfortable with letting their dogs off leash and such, they still have quite a nice big open space that's interesting for them to explore. And then also over here we have the very cultivated small park and gym. Here you can see, who's this person? Oh. Richard Chambers doing some nice lunges along with Katrina Weatherly. Good job, keep at it. And then like I said, a more manicured park here. What I might do off camera is go into a bit more detail. As you can see, I've put in some lamps and benches and bins to make that a little bit more realistic, but maybe in some areas where I think maybe behind or even along these streets, or slightly in this nook here, just some chairs and tables for people to sit while they're eating and such. I haven't managed to see this be used at all, which is a shame, but I still think it looks nice. still think it looks nice. So yeah, so I really need a name for this park as well. So if you have any ideas in the comments, please do let me know. But I have been recording long enough now, so I'm going to just set up the districts for this areas on the outro. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.